Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of Coveney Speaks. This is my newly launched podcast, and I will be bringing on some trailblazing women to share their experiences on breaking barriers and turning pain into power. So today's incredible guest is a boss babe of South Africa. Let's start there. Bohlale Palile is joining us, and she is the founder of Get Corporate Ready, a platform which teaches corporate professionals the importance of taking charge of their careers. She has also worked in the HR space as an award-winning HR professional. And the other thing that's really important here is that she's worked for many top organizations, including Standard Bank, Investec, and Bowman. So, she's got a wealth of experience. So I'm really, really excited to have you on the show. Thank you for honoring the invite. And I think this is going to be, an incredible conversation that we're going to be having. But let's just start a little bit about, your earlier days, your earlier childhood days. How did it all start for you? Where did it start?
Thanks, Coveney. I think firstly, just thanks for the opportunity. I think this is a fantastic platform that you've created and much needed as well. So in a nutshell, Bohlale, born and raised in Joburg. So I'm a Joburg girl, grew up in Soweto for a little bit of my childhood, and then ended up growing up in the West Rand for the better part of my childhood. So from the time I was in grade 1, I went to a Model C school all the way up until matric and kind of continued through there. Very, very lucky and blessed to have been born into a family of mom, dad, the oldest of 4 siblings. And so lots of pressure and responsibility on me, but that I think has really groomed me into being the person I am today.
Yes. I've been watching your journey over the past few months, creating this space, this platform for women to own their space, for women to break barriers, and supporting careers. How did that journey come about for you?
I think it's really a journey of discovery, Coveney. I think sometimes we like the idea of, I'm going to set out and do my career and I need to have it figured out. I need to know exactly what it is I'm going to do with my career. And we kind of feel flustered when we don't. But I think I really stumbled across the career that I've had, the 13-year career that I've had, which, yes, in the HR space, but really specializing in the graduate recruitment development side of things. Now, for me, a role is really about, I don't work for the sake of working. I think I've always just known that. Yes. I think if it was up to me, I wouldn't have gone into corporate at all, right? I wanted to kind of be in the travel industry and do those kinds of things. But as parents would have it, would kind of like channel you back into being in corporate. And I think corporate is a space for you to discover more about yourself. When I started at Investec, that's where I really got a good sense of what graduate recruitment was about, because that was kind of my first proper corporate career.
Right.
And that exposure was what really kind of lit a fire in me around helping young people navigate the space in corporate. So having had a 13-year career doing that, that's really kind of what's built up Get Corporate Ready as an organization, to say that, each organization I've been in, I've had to only ever focus on the kids that are coming into that organization. And I said, how many of our youth are out there that don't know this information, that are not privy to this information? Why not create a platform that is open to everyone, that anyone can gain this kind of information? Because I really think that having that level of mentorship in your career, especially early in your career, really helps you carve out the right types of steps that you should be taking in your career. So that's pretty much how Get Corporate Ready got started and where the passion comes from.
Oh, that's powerful. I've been watching a lot of your content, and you're sharing real life tips. You're sharing the how to do it. And I think there's just such a need for, especially young professionals entering spaces, and we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. And I think just, creating the tools for young professionals to succeed in whichever environments they find themselves in.
Definitely. And, I've also realized, Coveney, and I'm glad that I've spent this time in corporate, you can give a young person all the tools necessary, but really what's going to shape corporate South Africa is also being able to give those tips and lessons to the people that are in corporate. As you'll know, being in corporate, there's multi-generations in any corporate space. And the way things were done 10, 20 years ago is not what's going to be done now. And it's not how you look after your staff now. It's not how you remunerate your staff now. It's not what people that are coming in now are not looking for the same things.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So the tips that I give is really to help arm you as an individual to learn to take ownership of your own career. A lot of people go into their careers and everything about whether the career is working or not working hinges on what the organization can do for them, right? Oh, I'm not growing as fast as I want to because the organization doesn't have the right types of, training or learning and development initiatives that are going to arm me. Oh, I'm not able to get promoted because this person did. And I hear that, I acknowledge it because those things are maybe true in your space, but at the crux of it, what are you doing about it? Right? The organization is not there to mold around what Buhlale wants.
Yes.
It's not going to mold around what Coveney wants. It's not going to mold around what Thabo wants, right? So the organization is there to create a platform for you to come in and make use of what they have. You need to actually make use of the what's been given to you in the organization, whether it be through people, whether it be through resources, whether it be through different platforms that they make available. Make use of that. You make that call. You make that decision. So that's why I've chosen to focus mostly on people taking ownership, because I think you drive your own career and you need to make the critical calls sometimes.
I love that. I love the fact that we own the power to change what happens to us. It sort of gives us a bit more control, I think, from a mindset perspective.
Definitely.
And I know that you've been, you've ventured into full-time career coaching at this point. Come highly recommended. A lot of my friends have used your services and have the best things to say. What are some of the tips that you can share with our community, just in terms of, growing a personal brand? And, I think the biggest thing is having a presence in whichever spaces you find yourselves. And what are some of those general tips that you can share with our community?
So I think for anyone in their careers, whether entrepreneurial careers or corporate careers, right? I think it's so important as women to make it a point to be intentional around building your personal brand, right? Building a personal brand is you taking ownership of yourself, of your career, of your network, of who knows you, how they know you, right? And building a personal brand for yourself allows you to not be reliant on anyone but the work that you've put into yourself, right? So whether that be in the form of personal development, how are you growing yourself from a mindset perspective? What are the things that you are learning? What's the constant kind of learning that you're doing just for yourself? But also, what do you want to be known for? Ask yourself that, right? I think a lot of times we fall into the trap of living day by day, existing day by day. You just wake up, you do the same thing over and over. You wake up 5 years later and you wonder, why have I not moved from point A to point B? Because there's no strategy to moving to point B, right? So if you're at point A now, what does point B look like? How can I start taking steps towards point B so that when I wake up 5 years from now, I'm already at point B, making my way to point C. So building a personal brand is absolutely critical. Secondly, like I said, personal development, right? So taking the ownership to actually develop yourself. But I think finally, use the skills and strengths that you have to craft something that's uniquely you. So building a personal brand is not about trying to emulate someone else. It's not trying to be like anyone else. It's about saying, what do I love doing? What is my skill set? What am I good at doing? What can I do without, counting the hours, right? Yes. So when you know what that is, those are your strengths. Those are your unique gifts. That's what makes you you. And if you start crafting your personal brand according to that, it allows you that when you are standing up on stage, you're not like anyone else. Why? Because you've gone internally to look at what are my strengths, what are my skill sets, what is it that I